Relationships, they can be amazing, but let's face it, they can also get super messy if you miss the signs. Today we're going to be cutting through the noise and talking about red flags that most guys ignore in relationships. The first red flag, it's kind of obvious, you've probably heard it a million times before. If every single one of her exes was crazy, or was the problem, or was a narcissist, that is generally a red flag. Why? Because it could mean that she's either choosing toxic people as partners, or she's contributing to the toxicity herself. Pay attention to how she talks about her past relationships. It reveals a lot about her self-awareness, her self-esteem, and her emotional health. You cannot be with someone who emotionally will damage your emotional health in the long run. So make sure you pay attention to that early on and make sure she's stable, make sure she's happy, make sure she's healthy, and make sure that she is good for your emotional health as well. Number two, she doesn't respect your boundaries. Does she respect you when you say that you're busy? Does she say okay, or does she make a fuss out of when you're not able to hang out with her? Is she flexible as a human being, or does she get really antsy? Is she really demanding? And is she someone who only seems to care about her needs and wants? A healthy relationship is built on respect for one another. So if she's not respecting you there, it's toxic and it's something you need to look out for really early on in the relationship. That's always a really good sign to pay attention to as well. Number three, she is overly jealous or controlling. It might seem cute at the beginning, and being a little bit jealous is okay. It's completely fine, because someone who's a little bit jealous over you about what you're doing is someone who cares about you and loves you. However, if it progresses more and more into the relationships and she starts wanting to control everything you do, everyone you see, she doesn't trust you, she's jealous, even though you haven't given her any reason not to trust you, it can be a red flag, because it can turn into the toxicity of her trying to isolate you from friends, isolate you from the people around you, and her trying to control your life. This will make you miserable. Trust is a non-negotiable in any relationship, and if she's not able to trust you and you're not able to trust her in return because of that, the relationship will never thrive. Number four, she plays games instead of communicating. I'll give you a very simple example. A lot of women, they love to do this. They will have a problem. The man will then ask her, hey, is something wrong? And she'll be like, no, everything's fine. And she'll consistently do that even after you guys have done this a million times, and she continuously makes problems out of nothing. That can be a red flag. Other signs can be the silent treatment. If she's passive aggressive, or she makes passive aggressive rude comments that she then claims are jokes, or she makes you guess what's wrong consistently, like in the example I gave before, they're all signs of poor communication. Of course, women have their phases. Women are emotional by nature, and they will be more emotional throughout the month than men. A lot of women will do this, and this is something that will happen probably throughout your relationship once or twice. But if it's happening on a consistent basis and she's continuously doing that, it can be a really big red flag. This again leads to the emotional intelligence and the emotional security. If she's emotionally intelligent, if she's able to control her emotions, great. If not, she will probably play a lot of games which will mess with you and will mess with your head, and it won't be good for you in the long run. Number five, she lacks accountability. This I know, and you're probably rolling your eyes. A lot of women struggle with taking accountability over what they do wrong, over their mistakes, and owning their mistakes. Why? Is because women are the weaker gender. And because women are the weaker gender, taking accountability can mean that something will go wrong and that they're gonna have to deal with something that they might find too difficult for them to deal with. However, if you've had this conversation, if she doesn't take accountability in the beginning, but then she learns slowly with time and she wants to improve, great. You know, some women have never had this conversation before, and can help them to realize how important it is if they're able to trust you that you won't hurt her for owning her mistakes. But if she never owns up to her mistakes, she can never see anything she does wrong, and she blames everyone else, including you, but never herself, it's a red flag. Accountability is crucial for growth, and it's crucial for both of you guys to work out long term. Number six, she's hot and cold. One day she's all over you, she's super sweet, everything is great, she's all over you. And the next day, gone. And she's distant, she's hostile, she's rude, without any explanation, without anything having happened. There was no fight, no argument, and then suddenly this. And that again is a sign of emotional unintelligence, and it's something that you should not get yourself into, because this kind of inconsistency will mess with your head, and it's often a sign of manipulation as well from women. So women who tend to be hot and cold, or you know, in psychological terms, it can even be bipolar, are women who will manipulate you into getting what they want, and they don't care about how you you feel. So avoid this and remember that healthy relationships thrive on stability. If you're in a relationship and your woman shows signs of this, consider getting her professional help. Maybe talking to someone about it could be great for her, where she's able to realize that she needs to work on that as well, because that is something that you cannot live with as a human being long term. Number 7 is she's disrespectful to others. Pay attention to how she treats waitstaff, strangers, her family, your family, and everyone else around her. If she's rude, dismissive, or entitled towards others, chances are she is going to end up doing that to you too. Even if it's not in the beginning she might be pretending that she's all nice and humble, but I can promise you, she will eventually do that to you too. It's all a matter of time. People in the beginning of relationships try to put on a facade most of the time. You know this, I know this, everyone's done it. So if she's doing that now to other people, there is a 100% guarantee that she will do it to you at some point as well. Keep a lookout for disrespect and make sure you're not with someone who's disrespecting everyone around her. Number 8, she uses manipulation to get her way. Now, this can look like guilt tripping, playing the victim, or using affection as a bargain chip. Yes, it's cute when women are cute, but it's not cute when women are cute because they are manipulating you into getting what they want. If a woman is only trying to get what she wants and trying to get her way all the time, she will manipulate you in the worst possible ways, and it's not love, it's control. Again, this all leads back to her emotional intelligence and her emotional state. The more advanced she is emotionally and the more she has her emotions under control, the better she will able to thrive in any relationship with you. She might have to work on it. If you're already in a relationship with someone who hasn't been able to work on this so much, try and help her realize where she's going wrong, because chances are maybe she hasn't noticed it. Maybe she's never been confronted about it. But a woman who is humble enough will realize, okay, I need to change this because I am the problem here. And if she's not humble enough to realize that, then she's not for you. Number 9, she has unrealistic expectations. Daydreaming, women love to do it. Why? It gives us a sense of, peace, a sense of hope, a sense of being happy. Women search for happiness the way men search for success. Women and men are not the same. So a woman will sometimes have unrealistic expectations. For example, sometimes these can get a little bit out of hand and you're gonna have to either realize that from the beginning, your problems, this is not something that you're gonna be able to deal with, or if it's already into the relationship, you're gonna have to help her set her record straight. If she expects you to solve all of her problems, fund her lifestyle, or be perfect 24/7 while she is not, because nobody is, that is a red flag. And number 10, the most simple one, is your gut tells you that something's off. Here's the thing, your instincts are powerful, whether you believe it or not. And if you feel like something isn't right in the beginning, even if you can't put a finger on it because you're like, this seems to be okay though, this is great, she's good here, what's wrong with it? Listen to it anyway, because chances are you just haven't seen it yet, but your gut is not gonna be ignoring the bigger issues down the line, okay? Your gut is telling you now to run, and whether you believe it or not, at some point, that offness will come to the light, and then you'll be like, that was it, but maybe you should have ignored it back then. So listen to your gut, especially if it's telling you something pretty strong, and make sure that you don't ignore it. So the question remains, why do men overlook some of these red flags? Well, there's a few reasons. Sometimes it's because they don't want to seem judgmental. They're too focused on the good things to notice the bad. Women do the same thing with men, by the way. And other times it's because they're afraid of being alone. So they settle for a relationship that isn't healthy, that isn't good for them in the long run, and that they know will not make them happy. But here's the truth. Ignoring these signs doesn't make them go away. It just delays the inevitable. The longer you wait in a toxic relationship, the harder it's going to be to leave. Remember, recognize the red flags doesn't mean you're being picky or harsh. It just means you're protecting your peace and valuing yourself. An analogy I love to say is, let's say you're at the train station and you need to get to a destination, but you get on the wrong train. The longer you stay on that wrong train, the more expensive the return ticket's gonna be. And the same thing is with the wrong relationship. The longer you stay in the wrong relationship, the harder it's gonna be to get out of it, the longer the healing process is gonna be, and the more time you're gonna have wasted when you could have been in the right relationship. So don't settle for less than what you know will make you healthy and you happy in the long run, not just in the moment. So remember that next time you're getting to know a woman. Remember that relationships need to add value to your life and not drain you. Let me know in the comments down below what red flags you have noticed in the past, what red flags you might have ignored in the past, and let's start a conversation and help each other out with that, okay? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I can't wait to share more with you guys in the next video.